Hi everyone, thanks for joining me once again on Smash Factor TV. Today's coaching video, I'm going to help you with one of the most common issues and swing issues for most people, and it's early extension. So let's go and have a look at how to improve that swing with some more game-changing golf coaching. So our video today is all about helping you improve early extension in your golf swing. Now, all that early extension means is that when you're swinging your golf club, your pelvis is moving towards the ball too much. So if I swing the club back, get into a backswing position here, and then the pelvis will start to push too much this way. So it now makes you stand up out of posture, and you'll end up with the club getting stuck here in this sort of position, and you're either going to hit a block out to the right, or you're going to try and save that with the hands. You'll turn the hands over, and so now you'll start to hit more of a hook. So what we want to do is, rather than the pelvis moving towards the ball, once we've got to the top of the backswing here, we want to get the pelvis turning in with a better turning action rather than a thrusting forward action. Now, if you're an early extender, you're maybe not moving the left side of your pelvis back away from the ball enough to generate that turning action. So as the right side of the pelvis pushes towards the ball, if the left side of the pelvis doesn't push back in sort of equal amounts, if the right side's more dominant, that would give you that push forward and that straightening of the spine. So we need to look here at, with this video, we're going to look at this left side of the pelvis and this left leg and what it should be doing. So as I just said there, as the right side of the pelvis moves towards the ball in the turning action, the left side of the pelvis needs to move away from the ball. So we need to learn how to make that happen. Now, this is a really good tip that you can try at home. I have a device in the studio that will help people to get the feeling of it. But if you just use a core slider, or it could just be a plastic disc, you're going to be able to grip it on one side, so that's what the core slider is good for, but it's no friction on the other side. It's very shiny, so it lets, basically when you put this under your foot, it lets your foot move about. Okay, so what we want to see here is if you've got this under the ball of your foot, so when you swing back, to get this side of the pelvis driving away from the ball, what we want to do is actually push the core slider in front of us, because when you've got the feeling of pushing your foot that way, the reaction that will cause is that your pelvis will move back in the opposite direction, especially when your foot is then on the ground and there is friction under your foot, so your foot's not actually moving. So if I just take the club out of it here, if we make a backswing, what we want to work on doing is getting this feeling with this core slider. We want to push it this way as much as we can. So we want to push the core slider out in front of us. So we get the feeling of how to push the core slider that way. Now I've got nothing under my foot here and it's just on the ground. When I get that action of trying to push that way, you can see it actually makes my knee and my pelvis move in the opposite direction. So what I'd suggest you do is, if you set up pretty close to a wall, just so that you've got an inch or two of movement there, hands across the chest, and then if you make your backswing and then just practice that, yes, you're going to push into your left foot, but you're also going to push that forward, and you get that feeling of this leg straightening, the left side of the pelvis pushing back, so that you get more of a turning action in the pelvis. So again, if we go to the top here, in this position here, if I now get that feeling of trying to push that way in my foot, it will straighten my leg, and you can see it gives me a good turning action, a push back in the left side of my pelvis here, which is going to make it a lot easier to rotate. I'll start to get a much better action in the pelvis. I'll start to get much more of a rotation action in the pelvis, and I'm not going to get the club stuck behind me. I'm going to start to hit that golf ball a lot straighter and with a lot more power. I'll centre the strike a lot more. It's another game-changing golf tip.